Hey, good afternoon. It's Maria back with another video, and this is my product review. I mentioned before that I was interested in reviewing some products just to have some video ideas. And so I decided to purchase some sunglasses online since I had, some pretty old sunglasses and wanted some new ones. This company's name is called Payne Glasses LLC, and they are located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And so I'm going to go ahead and open this here. Now, I ordered these glasses on the 23rd of May, and I just received them. So it was about 3 weeks or so. These glasses right here, I just recently purchased in the same month. And it took about the same period of time for me to get my glasses. This is what I ordered these glasses at a regular store, at a regular, place that sells glasses and does eye exams. So I would say the turnaround time is pretty much the same. From a regular company. So these glasses that I saw online, they immediately spoke to me, and I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's something I never wore before, and I really want to experiment with a lot of different things right now. So I got these, and like I said, these are sunglasses. These are only going to be worn when I'm outside walking, or when I'm outside, basically. So let's try these on and see if they got my prescription right. Oh, they got these little stickers on it. Let's take these off. This is not something I've. Oh, wow. I'm going to get these off. Oh, here we go. That's kind of a. Okay. Actually, it really wasn't that difficult to get them off. All I had to do was kind of peel them back a little bit. I guess my biggest concern was like scratching the lenses, which is something I didn't want to do. So let's take these off and put these on. Oh, wow. These are kind of cool. You're probably thinking, why would you like these? Because we have our own ideas of what we like, okay? And I wanted to try them. Like, this is my first time around. Well, I actually ordered from another online company, but this is my, I'm kind of experimenting, seeing how much money I can save buying my glasses online as opposed to buying them, at a regular brick and mortar type like store. So these aren't bad. I mean, I don't know. We all have our opinions, and I feel like they're kind of cool and they're kind of funky. So it would be kind of fun to wear these. Yeah, I think they're fine. I mean, my vision seems okay with them. Like I can see all right. I haven't tried them outside, obviously, because I haven't moved, but these are okay. I'm content with my purchase. So they start off like at $10, like these glasses do. They start off like their starting point is $10, and then of course I guess the more I needs or that you have, the requirements that you have, they kind of add a little bit more onto the bill. Which, and I ended up paying like $50 for these, and I think they're decent glasses. And I usually keep my sunglasses for at least 2 years at a time because I only wear them when I'm outside, and sometimes not even then, okay? So, I mean, it's not like I can use my glasses. And because my prescription doesn't change drastically, I might go get new glasses. I get glasses every 2 years, okay? Like, I didn't get glasses like the year before because we all know why. Maria wasn't working and it was kind of rough. But, I'll get glasses and then I'll just keep the same sunglasses for like maybe 2 or 3, maybe even 4 years. As a matter of fact, the last pair of sunglasses that I had were, I think I got those in 2014 or 2015. So you're probably thinking, gosh, Maria, don't you ever update stuff? Not really. I mean, some things are important to some people, and for me, it's not really that big of a deal. Like, we all are different. So in my mind, it's like, well, sunglasses really aren't that important. But since I needed some glasses, figure it would be a nice thing to do to try that. I'm glad that I did. So yeah, not a bad place. So the company's name is Payne Glasses LLC. Like I said before, they are located in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the turnaround time is about the same as what it would be if you ordered your glasses from a regular store like Lens Crafters or something like that. So yeah, I'm content with my purchase. Why not? Yeah, and I'll probably order from them again. So let me give you a little bit of update of what I've been doing. Same old stuff, but I have been trying to like get more involved in certain things here at my house. As far as what interests me and it stimulates me. I did tell you I was picking up my reading again, which is good. And that's interesting and it's stimulating, and I think that's really important for me right now to try to find things that make me interested, because for a very long time I was starting to get very bored with life in general. And I will say there's certain things that I can't get interested in, but I feel as though it's important for me to push myself to pursue things that were at one point in time out of my reach, and certain things that have come across my mind. I definitely want to do them. No, I'm not doing anything weird, wild, or crazy, you know what I mean? But I'm just saying is, I need to find some sort of meaning and stimulation in my life again, okay? And I know what other people are going to say, well, Maria, maybe you should get into a relationship. And I know people talk about this all the time. That seems to be more on the minds of other people than it is on my mind, So it's like, and I know people want to protest and make a big issue out of it and like put their foot down and whatever. But that's really no one's business. Like I said before. Number two, I don't know. Like what I envision for myself is having friendships. You know what I mean? And very close ones that I feel I can trust. And trust is like an issue with me. Like that's the most important thing. If I can't trust you, forget it. And like I said, because of the buzz that was going on for such a long time, it's not easy to feel like you want to trust people. You know what I mean? So I have to be very careful, and I have the right to. And even if I wasn't a victim of gang stalking, okay, I personally think that regardless whether you're a victim or not of gang stalking, people should have standards about who they associate with, who they choose to give their trust to, their love to, their care, their concern to. Not everybody is deserving of that, so you really have to use discretion, day to day, I've just been plugging away, and like I said, trying to take an interest in my old hobbies, which that's not a difficult thing to do, I think what bothered me for such a long period of time is dealing with the abuse for such, like I said, such a long, like non-stop period of time. Like I said, this has gone on for years, decades, okay? But it just started becoming more and more obvious, like within the last few years. Like I was counting back yesterday. It's like about 7 or 8 years where it got so intense. Where it's like there's no denying it. It's not all in your head. You cannot deny that this stuff is getting bizarre and more weird, right? So when I think about all the time that you went into workplaces or you were encountering somebody at the store or something and they were acting rude or stupid or whatever, or you had like people were being a little bit too interested in you out of the blue for such a long period of time, and then feeling like you're walking on eggshells. Like, there were times where people wanted to start arguments with me over stuff that was really ridiculous. Like I told you, when I realized that my house was under surveillance. This is just giving you an example of why sometimes when a person who has dealt with being a victim of gang stalking or human trafficking or one and the same, why they're kind of always edgy is because the people who are behind it are like against you. Like they feel like competitive towards you, or they want to debate like this. They want to bring you into a debate. They want you to justify yourself for things that you really don't have a reason to. No one has the right to sit here and like back you into a corner and demand explanations. I don't care who it is, especially when you're an adult, okay? But still, like, I would be confronted, or people would want to start arguments with me or debate about certain things that to me were like, I can't even believe you would bring something like this up, right? Like I told you in one of my videos, I was talking about when I realized my house was under surveillance, and people would, like, if I had a conversation one night about a particular flavor of ice cream, and like the next day, somebody was spouting off, about ice cream, and then kind of getting angry because I didn't have a certain preference towards that. Not just the ice cream, but it could be anything like relating to religion, what do you call it? Clothing styles, food, whatever it was. Okay, just if I like white, then they like black. If I like red, then they like blue. It's like it's always this constant argument thing that was going on. So, or like when I was at work, when I was dealing with some of their job setups, where they were like bullying me over stuff that like really stupid stuff, right? and it's frivolous stuff, and most of the time, like, I can't even believe that somebody would even pick on somebody for these issues. But when you have people who are kind of like against you, everything that you do, they really can't find fault with what you're doing, so they'll kind of make it up. Oh, they try to, you know what I mean? So when you've dealt with illogical bullying for a long period of time, you sometimes in your mind you're overly concerned about things that really you shouldn't be concerned about normally. But because you've experienced so many irrational people, and were forced to defend yourself for things you really just shouldn't have any reason to defend yourself for, you kind of sometimes get a little edgy, you know what I mean? And I think that's normal, and that's just something I have to work on, and it's not always easy, because I've dealt with situations where, like I said, at work, where people were, I even made like jokes about it, because um, because when you're dealing with a lot of stress or whatever, sometimes instead of like, I didn't feel like I needed to cry about it, but I did realize that I was dealing with a very frustrating situation, and that what was happening to me was going to affect my future. Like, it was a very serious issue that if I didn't get to the bottom of it, it was going to have some serious consequences. So I knew that it was something that I didn't think should be taken lightly, and so I expressed concern over it. And where am I going with this? I guess what I'm saying is that um, uh, when you dealt with workplace abuse for a very long time, workplace mobbing and stuff like that, you're going to be very cautious in your life. You know what I mean? And it's not fair, really, such to some people. Well, it's just, how can I say it? I have to be careful, because I realize that so many people can do damage. And then if people are mutual friends, like these people were at one of my other jobs, it's very hard for people who are in the middle to be loyal to you, especially when they knew these people before they knew you. So you always feel a little bit, you know what I mean, edgy. So I think throughout the rest of my life, I'm always going to be that way, because they've bullied me in elementary school. They bullied me when I was in every grade of my every year I've ever went to school. They've bullied me in every workplace I've ever been in, or just started bullshit arguments or whatever. And so it does affect you. And no, I have never internalized it to where I felt like, oh, I'm really a bad person, I'm not deserving of this. No, quite the opposite. If in fact, it's only confirmed what most people kind of tried to tell me many years ago. And then, I don't like to think of people as envious of me, because I don't see myself as like anything great, really. To me, I'm okay looking, but I don't think I'm like, like pinup girl gorgeous or anything like that. And I don't think that I'm kind of that big of a deal. But what I am is I'm different. Like, I have a different type personality than most people. When they look at someone like me, they assume things, and they're usually wrong, because I have a unique personality. But I just realized that this is the way it's been. Like, and I do understand that they've been competitive towards me, because they view me as somebody who is better off than they are, whether they wish to verbalize that or not. And that's not something that I have never like tried to flaunt anything in their face. As far as I'm concerned, I never really had much, you know what I mean? Um, but still, you get tired of the bullying. You get tired um, of of having to deal with their what do you call it? Their environment, their poisoning, and their sabotage of things that were important to you. So I'm picking my life back up, and it's hard, because like sometimes you don't really know what direction you're going in, because you know I will tell you, when I was in the heat of all of this, the people, the weirdos that I encountered, and it blows my mind that people can be so weird and lack so much morals. Like, they have no morals whatsoever. You know what I mean? And it's deeper than what I think people make it out to be. This issue to me was very deep, and to me it's extremely important. And I know people will always minimize it. They will never realize why I went into this like whole mental, what do you call it, funk, and why I took it as seriously as I did, and why I feel like something like this is, a reason, a valid reason to not want to have a relationship with any of these people, because of, you can't explain what happened to me without somebody having to tell a lie. You would have to, I would love to hear what their explanation is. To me, it was a hate crime. And there's so many things that point to that, and I'm not mentioning names. I'm just saying is I'm a victim of a hate crime. And I realize that on a daily basis. There are some people who never resolve their issue of being a target. They never do. And so they end up being ostracized from their communities for like the rest of their life or whatever. And it can be very tragic. And to have people play with your life and make these sort of decisions for you and dehumanize you, or take your life and feel like so they have the right to actually project their will on a grown woman, an adult. There's so many deep issues that this brings up, and they could be very controversial too, because when you think about the religious issue of it, the racism that you cannot deny that was involved in this, and it's these sort of issues that people like to shrug their shoulders and change the subject and not want to confront and face reality. But this to me is very, very eye-opening. And like I said, I think if there was some sort of way that this issue could be taught in like by a college professor or something, because when you think about this issue from a social perspective, it's deep. It's very deep. And you got this white man who's basically destroying the life of a black woman, with people who are willing to cooperate with this person. And I am not the kind of person to play the race card at all. Okay, at all. I will go out of my way to avoid that issue at all costs. Okay, and I've always been that way. But you can't deny that. You know what I mean? You can't deny that women are dehumanized. You cannot deny that there is still racism in this country. You cannot deny that most people don't know anything about their religion. You can't deny that, we are living among people who claim to be educated, but really they're not. You can't deny the corruption that's going on. You can't, when you start looking at these issues, you know what I mean? It's like, I'm a reflective person who likes to who takes things very seriously anyway. But when I look at this situation, it's just like jaw-dropping to me. You know what I mean? And it disturbs me, but it is a very serious issue, and I every day, I work towards getting better, you know what I mean? But it taught me a lesson, and I certainly start to, almost every day like that goes by, I reflect on like how my worldview was like 18 years ago and how it is now, or how it was when I was 5 and how it is when I'm now. And the more I know, of course, about life and how things really are compared to how we visualize it in our minds, that's quite a shock. You know what I mean? I know people could be naughty, they could be selfish, they can be whatever. But what I dealt with, to me, was an extreme form of abuse. Extreme. There's just about every ism that you could ever think of that was used against me in this issue. And it is shocking to me, and it just reveals and confirms a lot of the things that I've always thought and suspected anyway, about the way that we live our lives. Not me, because I do my best not to be a part of this world mindset, and I do everything I can to question so-called authority. And I am not in any way a rebellious person, but I'm not blind either. You know what I mean? And I'm so sorry that this ever happened. I'm very sorry that it ever happened, because it changed my life in a direction where there's, I deal with a lot of confusion every day, like, what now, but in some ways it's like this, knowing and seeing people the way that I do now and being more reserved is for my own protection, so, I do, and I reflect on this issue a lot. And I don't regret my decisions to, what do you call it? Go no contact. I don't miss any of these people. But I will say, of course, there's times where I think about the people that I used to know when I was younger. You know what I mean? I know they got dragged into this, and I know I really can't say much about them other than, there must have been something about me that you wanted to believe all the things that they said about me in order for you to believe this nonsense. You know what I mean? And a lot of it, I think, was racism because, it's sad to say, but it seems as though that white people are immediately trusted and they are like above question in this country. When you put a person of color against a white person, it almost seems as though, and I am not a racist, don't ever say that because that's bullshit, and you know what, but I'm a realist. Okay, that is what I am. And so, without question, people think that immediately. You know what I mean? No matter how many times they talk about racism or people having rights or whatever, they immediately fall into this. So when you think about people like me who go into the workplace, you understand that people like me do need protection because what this natural instinct or this mind control, I don't know if racism is natural or is it more something that we learn from our environment, but it is something that people fall into. And obviously, this is what happened if they were going to let something like this carry on such a wide scale in a community. I'm a realist, okay? And I'm sure as hell not stirring up issues in the community. But when I start thinking about what happened to me and the realism, the reality of it, it's like, wow. And most people, like I said, because they're not really involved in it on my end, like they might have been a participant of it, they may have been witness of it, but they haven't really looked at this as deeply as I have. But, if they did and if they chose to, this is what they would come to this conclusion, you know. And I'm like, whoa, this is like really mind blowing, very mind blowing stuff. So yeah, to me, it's something that should be talked about in social circles, and it should be something that should be of many lessons and debates about, what we think, people are, what they say they are, the mask that they wear, society in general. It's a scary, scary place. Anyway, so I wanted to come here and make this little review, which I did, and got that done out of the way. I don't know. I mean, those gold glasses are kind of funky, you know what I mean? But, I have the right to have my choices, and it's kind of funny, and I don't want to step on anyone's toes, but I'm somebody who's going to speak with their mind on this issue. What happened to me, at least on their end, okay, was an example of somebody trying to exert white supremacy onto my life. Like if somebody actually thinks that they have the right to control another person or make somebody work a job that is, of no benefit to them, or they have to have so many restrictions. Obviously everyone knows that human trafficking is a form of slavery. Okay, it is, indeed, it is. And maybe they didn't think of it that way, but they did think of it in the way of where Maria doesn't have an opinion. We're not going to listen to her opinion. We're going to, avoid what she has to say. We don't care what she has to say. They feel as though they have the right to make certain decisions for me. And I will tell you, to me, I think a lot of it, at least from the perspective or like from the side of where my ex-husband's family was, I do believe that it was racism. And I do take it as a hate crime. And I will always see it that way. You know what I mean? So when I start thinking about it, it's like, whoa, this is like really deep to me. It's really, really deep. So anyway, yeah. But, every day is a new day, but I do want to do different things. I want to meet different people. But like I said, I do believe, I really do believe that more people are evil than they are good. Okay, this is a very good example of what happened is, I don't buy into somebody telling me just because I go to church or that they, or they bring up the name Jesus. And they basically, when they bring up the name Jesus, out of the blue, I mean, I have no issues with Jesus or anything like that. But sometimes, people put on a religious mask or whatever, and they're not sincere. And they use this to gain your trust. Because people think in their mind, oh, this person's religious, they fear God. And that's what used to rope me in when I was a little kid. Like, I used to think that older people were always respectable. That they didn't think that if they told me that they were a Christian, then I thought, okay, well then you're trying to walk in the footsteps of Jesus. That means that you're going to think about the consequences of your actions. That means you see, because I take my spirituality seriously, whereas some people just look at their religion or their religious affiliation as like a ticket to get stuff. You know what I mean? And all I can tell you is I'm going to get ready for dinner and I'm going to wrap this video up. Is that I'm disappointed in people. I'm very disappointed in people. You know, and I don't think I'm ever going to change my view on that. I'm a realist. Like I said, I'm a realist. I know how people are. But yeah, you know, I realize how many people in my life were not good for me. Like I've been in toxic environments all my life. You know what I mean? And so it's like, imagine yourself discovering a world where you have like the options to meet other people and you understand that all these years you've been in a bubble. Like your social situations, the places that you've been, or the little, even your appointments probably were arranged by certain people who wanted to dominate you. Okay, and then when you start realizing this, and it's like, okay, you're breaking out of this bubble. It's almost like you're coming into a new world. It seems that way. It's very different, you know, and but yet you're still remembering all the people that were so evil, and that's all I remember. I don't know very many people who've ever been decent to me. You know what I mean? Who haven't been on the side of these weirdos that have been like, you know, double agents or whatever you call it. So yeah, you know, I that's how I feel. And I don't think that I'm being illogical or, you know, I think it's an understandable, it's understandable why I would feel the way that I do. You know what I mean? So anyway, that was my little ramble. I had to talk and get on here for a little bit, and I hope you liked my product review. If you want to try those glasses out, I think you should. I mean, I know there's a bunch of online glasses that you can purchase, but this particular company, I think it's worth checking them out. I think those glasses are rather sturdy too. They think they're going to last, you know, the usual length of time that it takes me to replace my glasses. So, yeah, go give them a try. And then I'm going to wrap this video up and I will be back with another video sometime later. Take care. Bye bye.